Back to the Culture Call on Praise 93.3 with L. Spencer Smith. Our desire is to reach and empower the community by discussing a cross-section of relevant topics from various perspectives that are essential to its growth and interpersonal connections. Be sure to save our call-in number, 205-752-4800. Be sure to install the free Praise 93.3 app so you can send L. Spencer Smith a message or topic idea. Search for WTSK in your app store.
This is the world premiere.
Great morning, great morning, great morning, precious people. You know what time it is. That's right. Welcome to the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith right here on Praise 93.3 FM. It is indeed the place where Tuscaloosa meets the world. And for the next couple of hours, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., we're going to be here talking a little bit about everything from society to sports, education to economics, and most definitely from religion to relationships. And we are here to create a safe space. That's what it is, a safe space to have provocative and controversial and empowering conversations. We want to make you feel good too, right? And guess what? You can call in and chat it up with us as we learn together right here on the Culture Call. As I do every show, I want to remind you to do your due diligence and get your smart device, your Apple or your Android phone, and go to your store on the phone and download the free 99 app, Praise 93.3. That's right. Download that app and you can listen to us from all around the world. I keep telling y'all, from Tokyo to Paris, from Portland, Oregon to Dallas, Texas, and even if you are right here in the beautiful city of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, that's what I want you to do. Go ahead and download that. And of course, you can mail or you can email me your public service announcements. I keep telling y'all, I want to be your guy at the station. That's your personal public relations manager. And I want to let Lottie Dottie, Potty Soddy, everybody know exactly what is going on at your event. So you can email me at culturecall.praise@gmail.com. That's culturecall.praise@gmail.com, and give me an opportunity. That's right, to get on my soapbox and tell everybody what's happening at your church, your event, your organization, your fraternity, your sorority, your school, wherever you are. I want to help you make sure that feet and traffic comes through whatever you're doing. Why? Because we do it better when we do it together. Absolutely. And listen, you can go ahead and get you a sticky note, and write down this golden number, 205-752-4800. That's 205-752-4800. And definitely you can call in to the show and be a part of our conversation. Yeah, your voice matters to me. It really does. And I get excited when I have an opportunity to hear your voice. So make sure you go ahead and utilize that number. Give me a call and the chat. That's right. The chat on the app. You can hit me up and you can tell me how you think, what you're thinking about the show. And many of you have already done that, and you do it weekly. What your questions, and even participating, even giving some solutions to what we're talking about. Yeah, I definitely love that. Yeah. Okay, so listen, you know what I say? Go ahead, sit back and relax. Grab you some coffee. Yep, whether it's Maxwell House or Starbucks, and y'all know what kind I like. Go ahead, get you some chamomile or some green tea. Right? If you want to chill out, get you some chamomile. But if you're trying to energize, go ahead and get you some green, get that little kick. Yeah. Or you can go ahead and get you some good old alkaline water. That's right. Elevate 86. You can get that. That's right. Get down to that cellular level and wake those cells up on this beautiful morning. And I'm telling you, let's get hydrated and let's go into the culture. Yes, then. We've had a wonderful week last week talking about toxic people. And I've been hearing your comments, and some of you all have seen me and like, yo, that's a great subject. That was a great subject. And I'm like, yo, okay. I mean, that was just one of the things that I had, just in case if I needed a fill-in subject, that wasn't really what I wanted to focus on, but it just seemed like a right place to put it because, time and all of the things that were going on in the culture and, around the country and in the news, it just seems like that dealing with toxic people just happened at the right time. And so, yes. And of course, I'm going to talk about it. Why? Because I want you to be keenly aware of the world that is going on around you. There is more that's going on in Tuscaloosa and around Tuscaloosa that we need to be aware of, right? And so, yeah, when you have, well, I'm just worried about me and mine, there's so much that you miss out on, things that really affect you and your children. And so, yeah, we definitely got to keep our ears to the railways and see which direction the train is coming, how far it is, and make sure that we make the adjustments and what we have to do. Why? Because I just think it's important. We can't build community when we are always late, last, and lost. We can't build a strong community when we are not aware of the happenings around us, right? And that's religious, political, education, entertainment, all of those things. You have to know what is happening around you. Absolutely. So you can't live life with your shutters on, and you can't live life with blinders on. You got to pay attention. And like the old folks used to tell me, keep your head on a swivel because you just never know, where the next thing is going to come from. And sometimes things sneak up on people because they're so busy looking down and not paying attention to what's happening around them. So we want to make sure that that does not happen on the Culture Call. We want to make sure that we keep you aware. Listen, so I want to use today as what I'm going to call Motivational Monday. We talked about toxic people, but I want to use today as a Motivational Monday. Tomorrow, I've already planned to talk about, no more excuses, and maybe even into Wednesday, we'll talk a little bit about that. Because I want to make sure that we are primarily aware of what we bring to the table and what we will not tolerate in the season moving forward. And yeah, that's just very important, right? So today, again, as I said, I want to utilize as Motivational Monday, and I want to talk about being your best you. I want to use today's show to energize your week, to encourage you to be the best you can be, right? I want to make sure that in your mind, your emotions, your soul, and most definitely your spirit, that you are empowered and energized to show up and to present yourself as one that brings talents, gifts, agency to the table. I want to make sure that when people see you, that you've got that nudge. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to get out of the bed on Monday morning, especially if you got to go to work, right? And the routine can be drudging. It can be, weightful. It can have all those things connected to it. Some of you just might have gotten enough coffee just to make it through the 8 to 12 hours that you have to work, especially if you're working in manufacturing. Some of you had to get up to a house full of kids, loud and noisy, and doing what kids do, right? But nonetheless, yeah, some of you had a wonderful day in worship yesterday, and you had things to do yesterday night, and you're waking up and you're trying to shake off, the former. You're trying to shake off the past. You're trying to shake off, all of the tire and all of the mire of things that you had to do from Friday even till today. Well, what I want to do is I want to give you a positive shot. For the next 2 hours, I want to make sure that you understand that you can live a life that doesn't just focus on you, but you can always present the best that you have to everybody and to every place. I think we ought to be lights that shine. I think that we ought to be a city that's set on a hill. I don't think that God has made any trash. I think everybody has been made with specific purpose and design. And you need, every now and then, you need a reminder that this world would totally be different if you were not in it. You need someone to say that, yeah, something is depending on you. That's right, that you bring a certain level of energy. You bring a certain personality. You bring a certain purpose. You bring a certain definition to wherever you are. And so if you're listening to me sitting at a cubicle, or whether you're in a classroom, whether you've got your headphones on at Mercedes or whatever you are, whatever, if you're just, curling up at home because you're chilling, you're on vacation, it doesn't matter. I want you to know that wherever you are there by divine design. And, I really, really believe in this word called synchronicity. Let me say it again. This word called synchronicity. It's not synchronization. It's not all of us doing the same thing at the same same time. What synchronicity suggests, and I think I've said it before, is that we all are moving to a particular place that has been divinely designated for us to meet. For us to meet people, for us to meet assignments and obligations and deadlines, for your energy to clash with my energy, and we create something so very unique. We create something very specific, right? And so many people are so depressed and discouraged and downtrodden because they're waiting for someone to affirm them. They're waiting for someone to validate them. They're waiting for someone to tell them how valuable or how worthy they are. And of course, all of those things are important because I think that we live in a place or in a world, in a society, a culture of where mutual encouragement is necessary. That I need to tell you how good you're doing, and you definitely can tell me how good I'm doing. And when you don't have that in a place, when you don't have that in a season, and you go a while without that, it's like your soul begins to live in a desert, in a wilderness, in a very dry place. Because you need your thirst quenched. And some people say, oh, you're just so thirsty and you're just so X, Y, Z. And they don't understand the language that they're using. They don't understand the words that affect people on a very deep level. Here's the reality that you must be, and I think this is our centering moment as well. You must be very intentional about who you are. You must be very intentional about how you treat other people. You must be very, very intentional about every interaction that you have. The Bible, the book says, the text says that we need to be careful how we even indulge and how we treat strangers. Why? Because we could be entertaining angels unaware. And I know we are living in a culture, in a society that wants everything to be so visible, wants everything to be so concrete, that if you're not careful, you can walk around as becoming a believing atheist. What is that? Yeah, that I believe in God, but I'm an atheist because I really have not had any interaction with anything that is spiritual, anything that is divine, anything that is supernatural in my life for so long that I begin to wonder, even though I kind of believe, I got faith, I think I got faith, I can live in a world where I begin to doubt all of that. Why? Because I've not seen it. I've not experienced that. Right? And that's because we're not really aware and keenly aware of the world around us and what's going on around us. Sometimes we're so busy looking for, and I hate this, but sometimes we're so busy looking for our ancestors to come back and talk to us that you forget that God oftentimes sends little children to be your encouragement, right? That he'll allow you to birth a prophet just in your house, or a baby in your house, a toddler that will come and rub your face and rub your hand and tell you how pretty you are. And here you are looking for it to come from some other place. And God's like, yo, I already put it in your family. You're just not paying attention. And one of the things about life that when you live intentionally, it will cause you to understand that maybe who I am is on a journey to meet something that has already been designated, something and or someone that has already been designated to literally shift the way that I think about me. I am literally in a place, right? So many people, especially young people, say, well, I don't want to be in Tuscaloosa. I don't want to be in Alabama. I want to go to Atlanta. I want to go to LA. I want to go to Detroit. I want to go to, all this New York, and I want to have this life. I want to have this exciting life, and what they negate. And so they spend months and even years being miserable where they are in small places, and what it seems to be, obscure, and people, they're not having their chance, and people overlooking them. And they stay in a perpetual sense of, when is it going to be my time? Not even understanding that even in this small place that they might think is Dust Bowl and country, and don't have any big buildings, don't have any scenery, don't have enough restaurants, that might be what you see as the current reality, but you don't know that you're on a journey to connect with something, that you are here by divine design. And what I often tell people is instead of complaining about where you think you are, begin to actualize, begin to operate, begin to release the best of who you are, because maybe the key to turn everything is you. Maybe the key to the excitement, the key to putting this place on the map, the key to making sure that everybody begins to pay attention to these obscure places. Maybe the key to that is simply this. Yeah, that it's you. Maybe you're sitting in a place where you're like, well, I want to be in a place that's already established, already excitement. Yeah, but maybe you're not ready for that. Right? And here's what I believe. I believe that God strategically puts us in places where he knows we can develop and we can handle it. Here's what I want to say to you is do not despise, here it is, your small seasons. Don't despise your small seasons. Let me say that one more time. Do not despise the small season, because you are just a couple of footsteps away from the biggest change and for your life. You are a couple of days away, for you meeting the right person, right? You just don't know who you're going to meet at the grocery store, and you don't know who you're going to come in contact with at the gas station, and you just don't know who you might meet in school. Right? You never know the indelible mark that you make on people's lives when they meet you. So you always have to begin to think about, I've got to be my best. I've got to be my best. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect. What that means is that every time that you meet me, I'm going to represent what I want in my life. If I want encouragement, then I'm going to be an encourager. Yeah. If I want, someone to affirm me, then I'm going to be an affirmer. If I want someone to validate me and tell me how good I'm doing, then I'm going to find someone around in my surroundings and be led to validate them as well. The Bible says that if you want friends, you must first become friendly. In other words, you got to sow the seed of friendship to reap the harvest of a friend. Let me say it again, that you've got to sow the seed of friendship in order to reap the harvest of a friend. And that's important. That's important because a lot of times our hearts are broken and our emotions are everywhere because we want somebody to give us something. And listen, I'm not faulting that. I'm not coming against that because I think that is important. But hear me. I also believe that one of the key things is you learning the power of the energy that you sow. You possess seeds that have a harvest of your desires in them, that you possess actions that will literally change the face and the map of how you see your life, right? And while you are waiting on someone to do it, I believe strategically that, God has already placed these people around us. I believe strategically that, those people already exist waiting to meet you. But here it is. You cannot be so overcome by what you desire and what you want other people to give you that you forget that your prime life seeds, the best harvest that you have yet to see, lies within the seeds and the planting and the sowing that you do on your own behalf, right? You've got to see people as good ground. Now, I know we meet some folks that are very interesting. Listen, the stories I could tell you about some of the interesting people, and I'm being very generous and very kind when I say interesting because I don't want to say wacko. But we meet some very interesting people that we've got to navigate this life around. And my heart always, tells me be kind to people. Don't be kind to those kinds of people. I know that some people shun them and say, oh my goodness, I don't want to be around them. They're weird, right? No, they're not weird. They're just wired differently than you. And that's a good thing because people that are wired differently than you oftentimes give you the opportunity to see what another person's perspective is and their perceptions. Those people are often the ones that always come in the nick of time to tell you exactly, hey, you are important in my life. Why? Because I know I'm a little weird. So we think weird people don't know that they're weird. We think they know that they're a little weird. They know that they deal with a different fire and a different kind of energy. And yet we still must embrace those people. See, I don't want everybody always to act like me. I want people just like flowers. Everything is not a rose. Everything is not a tulip. Everything is not a dandelion. You know what I'm saying? There are some flowers out there that will literally blow your mind, but because that's what we're used to seeing the rose, and somebody said the rose is beautiful, and somebody loves tulips, but there's so many different kind of flowers out there that literally blow your mind. See, you enjoy the flowers, so therefore you kind of get stuck in the flowers that you like. But a florist has the ability to see the different beauty of different kind of flowers and vegetation. And that's kind of how you have to live your life to become the best you. That, yes, everybody's not going to be like you. Everybody's not going to say it like you say it. Everybody may not think like you think. But that does not mean that that person cannot be an extreme blessing to your life. That does not mean that you can't sow a seed of kindness and a seed of respect and appreciation to someone else that will definitely come back to you. You know, in Galatians, here's what it says. It says this. It says, be not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever you sow, that shall you also reap. That's what you're going to reap. Whatever you sow, that's what you're going to reap. And I mean, folks fall out and all right. But here's what the text really saying. It doesn't say where you sow. That's where you're going to reap. It says what you sow. That means God will a lot of times have you sow something and give something here to do an action in your present that you reaps on the forward motion of your journey. That you can sow in Tuscaloosa and reap in Phoenix, Arizona. Right? That you can sow in Utah and reap in Jackson, Mississippi. Right? Because it's not where you sow, it's what you sow. Right? Sometimes the people who you sow it into, the people that you do nice things for, the people that you affirm and validate, the people that you encourage will be the main people that don't do it. Don't return it back to you. Those will be the main folks that will look at you when you're downtrodden, look at you when you're in your sad season, and are like, oh, okay, all right. And you're sitting there brokenhearted, cast down in your emotions, trying to figure out, and it's designed all to change you. It's designed to change your heart. Designed to change your attitude, designed to change your emotion. Well, I'm not going to do this for them since they ain't got to everywhere. But you don't sequester it just to them. You begin to add some level of ubiquity. You start saying, well, I ain't going to do this no more to anybody. Well, everybody's not like that, So you got to be mindful and be very intentional about who you are. You got to be very, very intentional about who you are. See, one of the things you got to know is that you're going to always have people that's for you, and you're going to always have people that's against you. But here is what I am persuaded. Here's what I'm persuaded of. Y'all ready for this one? I always believe that there are more for you than there are against you. That's the book. Right? In the book, Genesis 12, when God begins to speak to Abram and he begins to talk to blessing, tell him, get thee out of his country and out of from among his family. He said something interesting in the clause. People don't pay attention, but I pay attention to pronouns. I pay attention to adverbs, adjectives. I pay attention to how the sentence is laid out, especially in the text. And the text says, I will curse him that curse you, and I will bless them that bless you. Look it up. It's there. He says, I will curse him that curse you, and I will bless them that bless you, which tells me those who are trying to curse me are much less are in the minority. Those who are trying to empower me to do better, to be who God has created me to be the best person that I can be, are in the majority. So why do we always pay attention to the folks who criticize us? Why do we always pay attention to the folks that judge us? Why do we always pay attention to the folks that act certain kind of ways around us? And we try to, we multiply that in our mind. I don't know who it was who started preaching and teaching the haters ideology, the haters theology from the pulpit. Right? And so you think that your world has a multiplicity of haters. And I often tell people that can't be true because most people in the world don't even know you. And why are you always in relationship with haters? You mean everybody you pick in your life is a hater? Come on. Just because they have a different perspective or a different perception doesn't mean that they're your hater. Right? Just because, they see a thing differently than you doesn't mean that they are a hater. right? A hater is a person that will do anything to stop you from being the best you are and moving forward in your divine purpose. Absolutely. So already there, you know you got more people on your side. And that's what I'm going to do. This culture call is dedicated to you, to those of you who think you don't have a bunch of folks on your side. You got a whole radio show on your side. Absolutely. You got somebody to tell you doing all right. Yeah, listen, I know you may not be doing all you want to do, and you may not have arrived where you wanted to go yet. You've not, gotten the kind of money or gotten the kind of house or gotten the kind of car. You may not have received, the raise that you wanted, the raise that you deserve. You may not have received the promotion. I mean, we could do a litany of the things that we have not deserved. You may not have lost the weight that you wanted to, X, Y, Z, ABC. Yeah, okay, I understand. But here is the reality. Your life is not over. I promise you. What you don't have right now is, watch this, something that you can hope for in the future. Here's the text. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things that are not seen. Right? That's what the text says, right? Now, some folks say faith is now. No, now has everything to do with the preceding chapter. If you read the last verse of chapter number 10, that now is a turn. That now is a turn. It's a turn in the events of things, right? It's a turn, which I think is more powerful than the immediacy and the spontaneity of how they say it's now faith. No, I like to say that it's now, not now faith, but now. In other words, in all of these things that have happened, there is a rest. You're going to get what you're supposed to get, X, Y, Z. And now faith. If you learn how to utilize your faith and do not lose your hope, if you learn how to look at yourself in the mirror and say, listen, God don't make no jump. If you learn how to say, hey, it hasn't come yet. If I don't have it now, I don't need it yet. But if I keep walking, I'm going to bump right into the very thing that I have been dreaming about and envisioning. See, I think we need to, again, begin to tell people that they are important to the grand scheme of things. On the show today, I'm going to talk about the invention of AI. Artificial intelligence. If you're not paying attention, you're going to be late for real with this one, because the world is trending and turning to, they've created, systems that think, systems that feel, systems that write for us, systems that do all these things, create pictures and all these things. Because there are people who are intrigued of what the world would be like without human existence. There are people who are intrigued with being God. Right? And, although I love modern technology and I love the conveniences of AI, I utilize them on some things on my videos and social media and things. So I get it. They're very convenient. They're very quick. It takes a lot of work and energy out of the thought process of, all the things you have to do. But they are not a replacement for your creativity. They are not a replacement for my genius. Right? That I didn't spend all these years in school reading books and doing all that to be replaced by a robot that cannot feel. Right? I refuse to be replaced because God made me. God made me with intent. Before I was formed in my mother's womb, he knew me. AI cannot know me. They're trying to make it seem like they're trying to give robots human emotions because, again, there's somebody who had the whole great idea of trying to play God. But here's what I want you to know. Is that no, God made you who you are. You are divinely created, and you must live intentionally. That you cannot live haphazardly as if you just woke up this morning and nothing is on the agenda. No, you are on God's agenda. He is mindful of you. That's right. And me. And all of the stuff that goes with us. Absolutely. Listen, this is our centering moment. This is the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith right here on Praise 93.3 FM. We've got a beautiful day ahead of us, a magnificent Monday to you. I need you to stay right here. Get hydrated again because some of y'all missed the opening. Get hydrated and keep it here. Don't miss it.
This is the world premiere.
Hey, family, and we are back right here on the Culture Call with Spencer Smith, Praise 93.3. What a wonderful, magnificent Monday morning it is. Stretch, get up. Yeah, get up, touch your toes, twist around, do something, right? Drink you some water. You should start your morning off every morning with some water, bottled water, alkaline water, get that system up. Don't pour coffee in you so early today. Not yet. You always drink your coffee after you drink your water at least 30 minutes. See, now you done learned something. I done learned you something today. Don't start off, working your kidneys like that, and especially you coffee drinkers, get you some water in your system. That is prime hydration. Absolutely. Listen, we're talking about being your best you on this motivational Monday. I want to make sure that you exercise not just your physical body, but exercise your spirit and your mind, your soul, that there is the joy in you needs to wake up again, and the peace needs to be the thing that puts you to sleep. And yeah, you need to walk in that every day, understanding that who you are has been divinely devised and created to bring, some kind of element in the earth that literally is a blessing to other people. Absolutely. And I don't want you to negate yourself, and I don't want you to look at yourself as if that's not the facts. No, that's true. That's true. And I don't care who said what about you. None of that matters. Do you feel me? None of that matters when it all comes down to it. Why? Because you have been what? Fearfully and wonderfully made. Listen, our last segment, I was talking about AI, this artificial intelligence. And I don't know how many of you all are paying attention, but it's really gaining traction. And one of the things about the black community, especially the black religious community, which are most of my listeners, one of the things that really concern me is that things happen and we are on the backside of it all. We are never early adapters. We are not, and that's how things kind of catch us. That's how roads come in our community that we don't know about. That's how things go on around us, and we sitting there like, well, nobody asked me. Well, that's because we don't show up for the moment. And I want to encourage you on this Motivational Monday on the Culture Call to show up. Yeah. If you're sitting by somebody, just say, hey, you, show up. Text somebody, show up. You got to show up for the moment. It's your presence. Your presence is required for this moment, because if you're not paying attention, there's somebody, some company out somewhere trying to devise how they can replace you. They've already started doing it in the workforce, in the labor force, using robotics and using these intelligent things and not even using people anymore. Because what? When you don't use people, when you don't utilize people, you ain't got to worry about insurance. You don't have to worry about attitudes. You don't have to worry about humans, that human interaction that can sometimes be caustic and challenging, right? And because this is a capitalistic system, let me say this again. Because this is a system full of capitalism, let me tell you what they do. They are about the money. They are about the greenbacks, right? Now they can, yes, they can send you to HR seminars and human resources. They got a whole human resource department. They can do all these different kinds of things. But if you're not paying attention, they're trying to do away with all that. See, first of all, they're dealing with diversity, equity, and inclusion because they don't want to deal with the nuances of difference in humans. And then you're going to see them slowly take away funding from HR departments, the people who really hire, the people who really qualify, or if you have an issue on your job that needs to be addressed from a human perspective, they're going to start diminishing those departments. Why? Because they're going to try to create a robot, artificial intelligence, something, that can take your place. And they already started, doing it in cars, making you, that cars started driving themselves now. And we think it's, that's luxury. No, see, you have to look at a bigger plan because it ain't all just luxury. Some of it, most of it is technology. It's capitalism, that somebody has an idea to make money, and they know that the only way that they can make money is that somebody has to be the producer and somebody has to be the consumer. That, that they'll market things to you and they'll let you see somebody else have it. They know that's the hour in the culture of the digital age and social media, and you can look into other people's lives and you can see a product that you really like and that you'll purchase it. Yes, you will. You will purchase, and you're just sitting there like, and I want this, I want this, I want this. It's all about trying to plug and get your money away from you into their pockets to build their bottom line that they can become billionaires. And here you are with a car that may malfunction on you, because God has created us nothing to wire and to think like men, like a human. That we are made and created in the image of God. And we can become so addicted to comfort and convenience that we forget that in comfort and convenience, what we're really saying is, I'm erasing my presence. I am voluntarily and willfully erasing my presence from even mattering. Right? That's why they're not so excited about increasing the minimum wage, because they already know that technology is coming down the line. That's coming down the line. That's literally going to replace the worker. See, because it's no health care in that. It's no retirement in that. Yeah, there's no 401k you can give a robot. You just flip a switch and it's off and it's on. Right? So you have to understand the value of who you are. And making yourself irreplaceable. Let me say that again. Making yourself irreplaceable. Anytime you have been added and been invited to be a part of an equation that's going to create a particular result, a particular effectiveness, a particular technology and or strategy, then your job there is not just to go along. It's not just to, be quiet and sit in the background. No, it's to make your presence known. To say that if it's 30 of us and you only have 15 positions, then I'm going to be one of the 15 that has the position. I'm going to make my presence so very known and very needed and very valued, that they have to bring me along, right? And that's, again, this is nothing that I just pick up for culture call. This is what I live by. This is how I preach. This is how I teach. This is what I do in my conversation. That, I help people make decisions. And sometimes when I help people make decisions, I've got to say the hard things. Some people figure that, especially, that you work for them or that they control what you think, or they should be able to control what you think. Nah, I'm good. No. People need to know that you are worth your hire. See, all of that is already in the text. And of course, I don't make culture call preaching, but that's in the text. The laborer is worthy of their hire. It says you don't muzzle the ox that treads the corn. If that ox has worked all day to tread out the corn, then you ought to feed it. It's worth feeding it, because if you don't feed it, it's going to break down. It's going to lose its strength. It's going to lose its desire to do what? Tread out the corn, the thing that you so very much needed to do. So the way that if it's taking care of you and treading out the corn, then take care of it and don't muzzle it. Feed it. Feed it. Yeah. If you hired me and I labor for you, then pay me. Pay me. Pay me for my time, pay me for my creativity, pay me for my experience, pay me for what I bring to the table, right? You don't just get what I, do. When you get me, you don't just get what I do. Watch this. Here's the high ticket item. You get who I am. Yes, absolutely. See, when your boss hired you, they didn't just get you for what you do, but here's the thing. They get you for who you are. And who you are is worth more than what you do, because what they hired you for ain't the only thing that you can do. But you don't leave that at home. You bring all of you with you. And so he ought to make sure that what he pays you is not just for what you do or what they hired you to do, but all of the creativity, all of the genius, all of the intellect, all of the intelligence that you bring to that place of employment. That's what you need to pay me for. Now, I understand that there's a bottom line and nobody can actually pay us for what we're really worth. So that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that you ought not embarrass me and you ought not demean me because you simply think I need a job. No. See, part of being the best you, when you walk in that kind of understanding, when you walk in that kind of excellence, when you walk in that kind of overture, in relationships, in your place, in the marketplace, at church, at school, when you walk in that kind of understanding, then you place a demand in the room. Let me say that again. You place a demand in the room that they must treat you a certain way. Yeah. You put that in the room and let them understand that, hey, you didn't just get somebody that rolled out of the bed. But no, you got a genius. You got somebody who's intelligent. You got somebody that's a prayer warrior. You got somebody who's an intercessor. You got somebody who can sing. You got somebody who has been gifted to control the atmosphere in the crowd. You've got a thinker. You've got someone that's already thinking about ingenuity and technology for the next decade. You didn't just get somebody that just, came from out of a barn and under a bushel. Absolutely not. I've been shining. That's how you recognize me. I've been doing what I've been doing. Now again, you got to understand, and I say this again about being the best you. Part of that is developing a mentality that God has already built in a support system that will help you be exactly who you are. That you have to divorce yourself from the hateration language. You have to divorce yourself from the language that says people don't like me, they hated me, and all that kind of thing. And see, you got to be careful because people develop badges of honor. It's amazing that I look out on social media and people will utilize their time. Every time they post, it's against somebody. And they're only doing something against somebody because they don't really know themselves. Right? It's one singer talking about, another singer in a subtweet because, of course, they don't have the electronic coverage to tag the person or say the person's name, who they're really talking about. Right? And they do that to garner people to them. That you got preachers and pastors that say negative things and side-eye negative things and try to say things. Well, see, you the pastor of your church. You don't know what goes on in somebody else's church. You don't know what that pastor has taught, what that pastor said, and how hard they've labored. You don't know what they stand in need of. You don't know. And all of us have been there where we've been grassroots, where we've been just, trying to break through the ground. We've just been germinating in our visions and our dreams. And here you are wasting all your time because you on the come up. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. That's not how that works. When you understand exactly who you are, you will begin to cater to the people that support you. You can't do anything about anybody who does not appreciate your existence. The only thing you can do is die. Let me say that again. The only thing that you can do for somebody that does not appreciate your existence, the best thing you can do for them is die. And who's trying to die now? I refuse to die to make somebody else happy. Huh? No, absolutely not. That's not what we're doing in this hour. That's not what we're doing in this ever. We're not ever doing that. You're going to have to, as long as God keeps us on this earth, our enemies, if we have them, and we do have some, right? Even though you say, I don't try. No, you listen, somebody somewhere is hoping that you don't make it. But do I live my life paranoid about them? Do I live my life consumed about how they feel about what God is doing for me or what he's created me to do? Do I live my life, just trying to refute the fact that the person who mad because I got a promotion and they didn't, that I got an offer that they didn't receive, that I got a house that they don't live in, that I drive a car that they wish they were driving? Am I going to stop driving the car? And then you're talking to somebody who has done that I got a car and I was so afraid that people were going to talk about me in town. Because you know how they talk about preachers. Because some of you listening to me now know exactly what I mean, right? Because you sometimes are a part of it. Nonetheless, I was nervous. I got a car and my wife drove it way before I parked it in the garage, closed the garage, and I kept driving the car that I had. I think I had a black Navigator at the time. And I didn't want anybody to see me drive this Mercedes around town because I did not want anybody to say, oh, he's stealing the people money. He's doing this and Y, Z, exact Y, Z. And really, here's the deal. I was sitting in my house one day and I was looking at that car and I was so thankful to God. God's like, no, you don't know. You're not appreciative. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Sweet master, what are you talking about? I am appreciative. No, you're not. Why? Because you won't drive it. You won't let people see what I've done. You're so concerned with how some folk are going to frame the narrative about your blessing, about what you have, that you're hiding what I've done. Hear me? Somebody being blessed right there. You're so busy worried about what other folks are going to say. But guess what? If they had this blessing, you know what they would be doing? They would be driving it down McFarland. They will be circling Skyland. They will be trying to let everybody know exactly what I have done. And I thought about that thing. I said, you're right. You're right. And I remember the first day that I pulled that car out of my garage and drove it somewhere. And I can't remember where I went, but I drove it out of our neighborhood. And I went to the places and, I just drove it all around Tuscaloosa. And I felt good. I did. And I knew it was folks talking. I knew it was. But at some given point, that who I am and who God had made me to be, hey, I was blessed. I was favored. You know what I'm saying? And I can't ask for that if I'm going to be embarrassed about who I am and what I have. And if you would join with me, maybe I'll be able to tell you how to get it. See, we got to understand that being your best self is going to be offensive to some people. Everybody is not going to be happy with who you are, right? And you are too geniusly made to be anybody's robot. There is not another you. I have children that favor me and favor my wife, but they are not me, my wife, or myself. They are not. They have their own personality, their own dreams, their own desires, and we support them in whatever they do. See, you got to learn to let people say what they're going to say, think what they're going to think, do what they're going to do. And you got to learn how to live the life that you pray about. You got to learn how to live the life that you desire, that you dream about without embarrassment. Why ask for the blessing? Get it and then hide it. Why ask for the healing? And now, because you don't want nobody to say you think you all of that, you're trying to act broken in a fixed place. Why even ask God to bless you with a husband and a wife and a child, and now you embarrassed and you don't want, no, absolutely not. No, the last time I checked the book, it says the blessings of the Lord make rich and add no sorrow. And the only person who is sorry about me being me is somebody who ain't me, because I refuse to be sorry about how I have been created. Absolutely. No excuses. I am who I am, and I'm excited about being who I am. If that aggravates you, fine with you. Get over it. I'm sure they got a pill for it, because they got a pill for everything else. Find you a doctor and get a prescription, because I'm going to be everything that I am supposed to be, and I'm challenging you to do the same thing, right? Good deal. Listen, this is the Culture Code with L. Spencer Smith right here on Praise 93.3 FM. It's a wonderful, marvelous Monday. Oh, my goodness. We've got so much more to talk about. Yeah, you got to learn how to be the best you. Don't miss it.
This is the world premiere.
Hey, family, it is the top of the hour, 11 a.m. and some change. Yeah. Yes, right here on the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith. On Praise 93.3 FM. Are you having a great day? Are you having a marvelous Monday? That's right. It's Motivational Monday right here on the Culture Call. And I want to kind of just give you a little nudge, a little push in your back and let you know, guess what? You are amazing. You are awesome. And I need you to start acting like that. I need you to start getting into it. I need you to really bring your mind space to say, you know what? Let me get up. Let me get about myself. Even if I don't have to work today and I'm chillaxing. Yeah, go walk in the park. Yeah, do something for yourself that I think reminds you. And if not just reminds you, opens up your eyes to about how great and how wonderful you are. How intentionally you have been created, right? We talked about in our last segment about this whole thing about artificial intelligence replacing human activity and human being. And I think that's a slippery slope. While I appreciate, cutting edge technology, while I appreciate all of the amazing things that are going on, what I want you to know is simply this, that you cannot be replaced. Yeah, you just cannot. That you are unique. So guess what? Start acting like it. Start being and participating in this world like, yeah, you're irreplaceable. Start with your family. Start with your friends, your relationships. Start with your organizations, your church. Start with, all of those things that in this generation, it seems like, it doesn't matter, no. Start showing up. You have got to show up, I often get asked a lot by young people and people in general about, this whole idea, because I talk a lot about, positively, being positive and, positive being and, no self-negation, not being negative about yourself and making sure that you assert yourself in confidence, and that you present to the table the best you that you are, that whatever you do it like you're trying to be effective and you're trying to leave an indelible mark on somebody's life, right? And I often get asked, well, how did you do that? How did you get started? When did that start for you? Listen, I wasn't always like that. And, a lot of you listening weren't always like that, but what I found out, first of all, is how to allow my support system. How to allow my support system, my mom, my dad, my friends, my brothers, sisters, everybody that was around. Then I met my wife and my children. I allowed them to be my cheerleaders. That when I walked out of the door and there were people that weren't so much for L. Spencer Smith, that I soaked in so much of how the people who I did have in my corner, I soaked up so much about what they said about me and how they felt about me that it changed my perspective on really the reality of what other people were saying. That till it didn't matter. That there are going to be people who are always, have something to say. I mean, I can't stress that enough. And that. You know that, Culture Call. You know that, ma'am. You know that, sir. That there are some people who feel like they have been designated to keep you humble, to keep you underneath them. That there are people, even when your press and even when everybody is saying about you is true, there is going to be somebody who is contrarian and who's going to act like he ain't all that. She ain't all of that. No. Not only am I all of that, but I'm all of that with a bag of chips, a pickle, and a peppermint on the side. Right. And not just me, but you are too. Absolutely. You're not going to diminish me because you haven't discovered who you are. I'm not going to give you that privilege, right? And so one of the things that I tell people is that you got to be very intentional. You got to develop a personal intentionality about you are. You see, because being intentional about your purpose involves you got to be actively and consciously always aligning your actions, your choices, and your mindsets with an overarching life purpose. You see that I have as a personal mantra that whatever I do, it's going to be the best. I don't treat me cheap. Let me say that. I don't treat me cheap. I want to say that for those of you who listening, who looking for something to say. I don't treat me cheap. No, absolutely not. No. That I treat me with the excellence and the care that I believe that I've been created by. Yeah. I'm too gifted and too talented, too intelligent for me just to sit there as if I'm just nothing on the side of the road. No, I am not roadkill. No. That when you come into my presence, you are definitely going to be impacted. When I show up on your virtual space, you're going to leave with something that you didn't have before. I am going to give you the best of who I am, but I've got to be intentional. That's very intentional, very intentional. I'm intentionally kind, especially the people who I know are not kind to me because they don't control my reality. They don't control my space like that. No, absolutely not. No. I hug, I embrace, I shake hands. Yeah. And because I'm so sensitive, I can feel words. I can feel when you've said something. I can, and it doesn't stop me at all. I'm long old past the time to stop avoiding people in the grocery store, in the mall, because they see me and I know that they got some issue with me. Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, I don't have an issue with them. That's just the reality. That's how it's always been in my entire life. So you don't have to avoid anybody when you're intentional. When you intentionally understand who you are, that you are kind, that you are caring, that you are empathetic, that you are sensitive, that you have compassion, that you love people, that you love strong and you love hard. And ain't nothing wrong with your heart because you love hard and you love strong, right? And I used to feel that way. And I know some of you listening to me right now like, that'll get you hurt. Well, it does. But guess what? It hasn't changed my heart. I have not allowed how people have taken advantage of the kind of heart that I have to change my heart. I just changed those people. No. If God has engaged you and you have been created divinely to love someone through thick and thin, to love someone in ups and downs, in their mess, in their mire, in your mess, in your mire, if you stay consistently like that and that's how you've been created, then why are you trying to change it? You didn't create you like that. You didn't make you like that. No. That everybody doesn't have a heart to love like that. Everybody doesn't have a heart to give like that. Everybody doesn't have a desire to even be in a position to where, that, hey, don't worry about it. I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. I'll go love them. I'll go speak to them. I'll go encourage them. Everybody doesn't have that. And if you have that, that's a special gift. That's a special endowment from the Most High. And that is not something that you run away from. That's something that you embrace every day in your life. Yeah, you've got to be intentional, right? And the way you become intentional is if you got to clarify your purpose now. Listen, you will not be intentional about being you if you don't clarify your purpose. That means often you got to reflect and project. You got to reflect on your values. You got to reflect and project on your passions and what truly matters to you. See, once you situate those things, right, people's criticisms and judgments and what they have to say diminish in the light of the fact that you know who you are because you're intentional. You've clarified your purpose. For this cause, I have come. For this cause. Listen, I know that I could be anywhere on the planet. You could be anywhere on the planet doing anything. I knew that when I left Jacksonville, Florida to come to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, a couple of decades ago, I knew that I was on an assignment. And here it is. Sometimes people are not going to understand what that means. They're not going to understand why you showed up. They don't understand why you're smiling all the time. They don't understand why you embrace. They don't understand why when somebody's crying, you go and you weep with them. They don't understand. Most people don't understand that because they haven't clarified their own purpose. So why am I going to allow you to put me in the prison of your limited thinking simply because you've not clarified stuff that's going on with you? That ain't got nothing to do with me. Right? Right? That's where I mind the business that pays me. And you know what? I've grown to love who I am. Listen to what I just said. I have grown to love who I am because I always felt like I was in the wrong. Like nothing you could do. And I'm like, why do I consistently listen to those voices that are not supportive? That are not, why do I consistently listen to those voices that are not adding anything positive to people, to life, that they complain about everything except what they got going on? Why do I listen to them? Why do I listen to them? I'm that kind of person that I clarify my purpose. And every season, especially around my birthday, and just in case if you want to know, it's in September. Yeah, I clarify my purpose. I sit back and reflect. I sit back and say, hey, what lessons have I learned this year? What was I taught this year? What do I consistently need to do? What do I need to change? Yeah. What can no longer work for me? What new technologies? What new ingenious things that I need to attend to? Where do I want to go that I didn't go that I should have gone? Right? I'm so busy doing the work of clarifying my purpose and being me that I don't have time to be, to look at you and survey your life, to be critical of you. And you don't have that kind of time. Sir, you don't have that kind of time to be looking at somebody else's paper and telling them all the things they got wrong. Because guess what? You got homework to do as well. You got a paper to research yourself. You got a you to be. And you can't be you if you're trying to be me. And you can't be you if you're trying to grade me for everything that I do, because I know that if you're paying attention to everything that I'm doing, ain't no way you paying attention to anything that you are doing. So you've got to clarify your purpose. Be very intentional about that. Another way that you are intentional is that once you clarify your purpose, that you got to start setting goals according to your purpose, aligning with your purpose, right? Once you've broken down your purpose, and you begin to, into things you want to do, things that you're supposed to be doing, things that you want to gain, places you want to go, people you want to impact, right? Make sure that you're moving in that direction. Get up and move it. That's right. And not just the Popeyes, not just the churches, but get and go and do something that is purposeful. That's right. Make a difference. Volunteer. Make a difference. Be an usher. Make a difference. Join an organization that's doing something positive. Make a difference. Right? Be a part of a political campaign that's an upstanding political campaign. Do something different. Start a business. Tutor children. Take in a foster child. Yeah, do something. Right? Once you've discovered and clarified your purpose, do actions that align with the purpose that you have discovered. Don't just discover your purpose and just do random stuff that ain't got nothing to do with what's happening. Be like, what? Right? Do things that align with your purpose. Do things that accentuate who you are. Right? Yeah. See, when and then when you're intentional, you create a plan for every day. You create a plan of how you're going to do it. Here's my plan. I want to write about 3 books this year. I want to release new music this year. I've already got the album done. Yeah. I've got 2 more books because I already released one. I've got 2 more books that I want to release before the year is over. There's a couple of places that I want to travel. I want to go to some conferences and meet new people, support some of my friends who are doing amazing things, right? I want to take my wife on a wonderful vacation. We love Jamaica. I want to do all of that. And I'm setting those goals, right? I'm really being intentional about establishing a mentoring program for other young leaders, for what I'm calling next gen leaders, next level leaders. That's what I call it, next level leaders. I want to perfect my pour. That who I am in all of the years that I have learned things, I want to perfect it. See, that's my goal. But what is your goal? What is your goal? And I often tell people, listen, and that's an age, that doesn't have anything to do with age as long as you have strength, right? As long as you have strength. We treat our bodies and our physical beings so very badly as black people that when we get to our good years of wisdom in our 50s, our 60s, and our 70s, we're so broken down, right? We're so broken down because we've allowed ourselves and wasted our physical energy, and now we can't be primarily who we need to be. But what is your goal? What is your plan? What's the plan? You're not too old. You want me to tell you why you're not too old? Because you can always develop a team. And on that team, it can be younger people. It can be people who you recognize have the same desires and passions that you have, but they're younger. They may be a decade or 2 younger than you, but you do that and you pour into them and you mentor them and you coach them and you bring them alongside in your team. Yeah, it's not too old. You're not too old to do that. What is your plan? What is your plan? Wake up. Everybody talking about woke. And half the people talking about woke are still sleep. Absolutely. That's what it is. My question to you is, what is your plan? What is your plan? How do you plan to achieve? Create a timeline. Yeah, give yourself a schedule. We're talking about being intentional to be the best you that you can possibly be. What is your timeline? Right? That's important. And here's another one about being intentional. You got to learn how to prioritize and eliminate distractions. Oh, my God. OMG. Yeah. So you got to start identifying and looking at all of the activity, all the bad habits, all the commitments and obligations that you made that do not align with your purpose. Since you clarified your purpose, you know, and when you allow things to loiter in your life, when you allow things to stay there, you complicate your own existence. Oh, I'm so tired. And the first thing I said, tired doing what? What are you doing? Why are you so tired? See, because now in this hour, it makes no sense being so overwhelmingly tired, doing things that have absolutely nothing to do with your clarified purpose. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I mean that. Then nothing. Ain't got nothing to do with why you here on this earth, but you so tired. And I hear that a lot. Oh, I'm tired. I done such so forth. I'm not. Okay. All right. But tired doing what? Have you even qualified that statement? Because guess what? You can be mentally tired trying to juggle all the distractions that you're trying to make important. And that mental juggling, that mental, you know, what it takes for you to mentally and emotionally navigate all that stuff can make you what? Physically tired. It can affect your body. Yeah. It can be that psychosomatic, somatic body. That your mind is affecting your body because there's so many distractions in your mind that it's making your body tired. That's because you've not prioritized and eliminate distractions. Y'all ready? Culture call, because I'm getting ready to give you something really big. Lean in really quickly. Fire yourself from the unnecessary. Oh, my God. Did y'all hear that? Fire yourself from the unnecessary and position yourself for the exactly. When I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, that's what I'm going to give my energy to. That's what I'm going to give my focus to. That's what I'm going to give all of the things, my gifts and my talents, because I am now in the exactly. I have fired myself from the unnecessary. You don't need to be the president of that. You don't need to be on the board of that. You don't need to be in that. Why are you doing that? It's a distraction. It's not working. It ain't going nowhere. So why are you in that? Go ahead. Fire yourself. I fire me. I'm not doing that anymore. I fire me. Absolutely. And I'm going to utilize my energy on the exactly what I know I am exactly supposed to be doing. You got to get away from the distractions. Man, I'm telling you. Now, that's easier said than done. Because sometimes you got to investigate things. Because sometimes the distractions are the things you're supposed to be doing. And the things that you're not supposed to be doing, you made commonplace and you've made normal. You've normalized what the true distractions are because they don't align with your purpose. So before you get ready, throwing out distractions, wait a minute. Make sure you assess what your priority is and your purpose is. And then you begin to fire yourself and throw your trash out. But yes, you definitely cannot walk around with 50 million things to do. And I know that because that's how I used to feel. I got to do this, I got to do that, and I got to do that. And I'm like, no. That you are not given to be the referee to other people's problems, except that you got a degree for it and they paying you by the hour. I had to recognize that even as a pastor for myself. I'm like, no, that's not what, no, not at all. No. Here is what it says. Here is how you get out of that. Here's how you do your thing. Here is how you focus on this. Well, I want to, she don't like me. This and that. No. It said, if you got a problem with your brother, you go to them. You should have even came to me first. You're out of order. But you the pastor, but that's the Bible. That's the word. So I'm supposed to teach you the word. And the word say, don't come to me first. Did you bother to go to Sister Mary? Did you bother to go to Brother Ben first? Because you mad at Brother Ben. You upset with Sister Mary. But did you go to them first? Right? Well, no, I didn't do that because I wanted to make sure you in order. I was in order. Well, let me help you. You are out of order. Right? You are out of order. You weren't supposed to come to me first. Yeah, I know who I am. You ain't got to remind me I'm the pastor. I know. But guess what? Guess what? You also have been given a prescription. I'm supposed to give you to teach you and feed you with knowledge and understanding. Well, here's the knowledge. Understand this. Go ahead and text. Go ahead and pick up the phone. Go ahead and say, can I meet you, Sister Mary, Brother Bob? And don't come back here. I'm way down the line. Because even after that, if they don't hear you, you got to go take somebody else. Get a friend. Get an acquaintance. Take somebody in leadership and go with you and confront it again. And then when you do that, then you bring it before me in the conclave of the church. See, by a lot of times, a lot of things don't even get that it don't get to that level. Right? But no, you always want to make sure that you are so prioritized in what you have to do. So prioritized in what you have to do that you don't allow people to bring other distractions and place them on you in the name of you being helpful. I get it because we all want to be helpful and we all want people to know that we are compassionate and that we care. But sometimes you got to part of protecting you and protecting them is to make sure that they do things in order. Is to make sure that we don't waste the energy necessary just going back and forth. Because here's the facts. Some people just want rehearsal. They don't want reversal. Did y'all hear that culture call? I said some people want rehearsal of the problem. They don't want reversal of the problem. They want to rehearse the question. They don't want really the answer. They want you to know what the problem is, but they're not looking for the solution. They're trying to be the hero and or the victim. No, absolutely not. And I don't have energy for that. And they don't either, but you got to bring them to that enlightenment. You got to turn the lights on for some folks. It said, no, that's not what we're doing today. No, absolutely not. You got to prioritize. And here it is. When you start prioritizing, then you got to begin to cultivate self-awareness. Cultivate self. Do you know who you are? See, so many times people need self-care and self-love because they don't make it a regular habit of checking in on themselves. Let me say that again. So many people need so much self-care and they need this and they take drastic measures and they got to check out and they got to cut everything off. You know why? Because a lot of times it gets to the point of this being so drastic because they don't make it a regular routine at the end of every day to check on themselves, to see how they are, to see how they are emotionally, to see how they feel about what's going on, what they did, to see if their actions and their choices still align with their purpose. They wait. They wait till aggravation comes. They wait till frustration comes. They wait till they get angry and mad and have emotional discontentment. And they get upset with everybody around them. And then they start saying things. And then when you start saying things, you create a world of the things that you're getting ready to lose because your words create worlds. You say things to people who you love, and you done walk them, set them off thinking that you don't love them anymore, that you don't care about them, that you don't need them, that they are the distraction. When in fact, the truth of the matter is, it's been so long since you've checked on you on a regular basis, and that shouldn't be when you're getting ready to go to Cozumel, Mexico. That shouldn't be when you're getting ready to go to Punta Cana. That shouldn't be when you're getting ready to go on vacation and tune out in the world. That should be an everyday assignment, sitting on the edge of your bed. How did we do today? Did I do everything that lines up with my purpose, my clarified purpose? Did I finish my goal? The 4 things that I had on my list to do today, did I do my best? Did I bring my best to the table? If I did, then guess what I can do? I can go to sleep. I can go to sleep at night and allow my dreams and my visions to teach me about the future. I can allow my blood pressure to go down. I can allow my food to digest. Right? I can allow this cream that I done put on my face to look younger work. Because you be mad and you sleep and your face be all wrinkled up while you trying to sleep. You know? Yeah. When you start dealing with self-awareness, you become very mindful. Mindful to stay connected to your values, stay connected to your passions and your desires and the things that you want to see happen in your life. You've got to cultivate self-awareness. And we are living in a world of people who are not self-aware. I keep talking about that. And it's almost seems like I'm a broken record. If not to myself, I definitely know to you. Why? Because people lack self-awareness. Look at how they come out the house. And they tell me, well, that's just the way I want to come out. But are you aware of how you look? Are you aware of the distraction? And then there's always people, well, you shouldn't judge nobody. No, I ain't judging you. I'm just, listen. We know the tree, what? By the fruit that it bears. Right? No, you're not, no. You're not going to pass it off on me like I'm being judgmental and condemnatory when I am not. No, when I know I am clothed and in my right mind, I'm looking at you. You don't look like your best self. You don't look happy. You just rolled out your bed and put on your bonnet and you still got on your flip-flops, bringing your child in the front of the public school. And something wrong with us. Oh, listen, something wrong with me and what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, all right. You don't walk in this great old Piggly Wiggly. You don't walk in Publix. Huh? With your hair, all that undone, face not washed last night in the corner of your eyes. Breath smelling like Godzilla. You know, you just ate Godzilla. And a couple of collard greens, 3 weeks old. And I'm supposed to be the one to ignore that and say ain't nothing wrong with them. Okay. All right. That really makes sense, don't it? No, you have to cultivate self-awareness. That everybody does not need to know certain levels of me. Everybody don't need to know what I look like in the morning. That does no. I need to present a you that you need to know. And then when I get in my private space, there's a me there. And I'm not putting on. It's just, listen, I'm not being secretive. I'm definitely making sure that I allow myself to have an image that's just mine. And I'm not going to bring anybody into that simply because it's convenient. No, we got some stuff to do. You have to cultivate what? Self-awareness. Listen, I got a few more to do, but listen, I gotta make sure that I handle this right here. This is the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith right here on Praise 93.3 FM. Go ahead and get you some water now. No more coffee, some water, and keep it here. Don't miss it.
This is the world premiere.
And we are back on this marvelous motivational Monday. That's right. Radio The Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith on Praise 93.3 FM. And I am telling you, I'm having a blast on this Monday. Yeah. I am having a blast on this Monday. Listen, I'm still wired and I'm still hyped. We had amazing service on yesterday at the Impact Nation, and I am just still, I'm just blown away. And just to see the lives changing and people being encouraged and the Lord blessing, man, I am so wired. So I might be on a little something, might have a little, rush still on me from yesterday, but I want to use that rush to encourage you on this motivational Monday. And whether you have had a great weekend or a not so good weekend, you had to work through it, had to work at nights, whatever the situation may be, listen, I want to help you today become the very best you that you can be. That's right, because we need the best you to show up. Absolutely. We need to make sure that while you are here, you're doing everything that you were designed to do. Okay, good deal. Listen, we talked about just a few minutes, just in our last segment, talking about cultivating self-awareness and making sure you know where you are, right? Do you know where you are? What's going on with you? Have you checked on yourself lately? Do you check on yourself every day? And I hear some of you saying, Bishop, I don't, my day is so full and my day is so long after I get, with work, and I got to do it with my spouse and the kids, and I got to get ready for the next day, get the clothes done and all that kind of stuff. Or, I get it. All of us have a plethora of things we have to do from day to day. But listen, just like getting grocery, just like cooking dinner, just like talking to the children, just like making sure that the house is straightened up, you've got to take a moment, even if it's just in your washroom, in your restroom, your bathroom, and sit there and just say, hey, man, hey, bro, how you doing? And I think it's very imperative, especially for men, to do that. And we're going to be talking about, in the coming weeks, we're going to be talking about men. I'm very aware that June was men's emotional health month. There was so much going on, just in terms of travel and moving back and forth, and a lot of stuff was going on that I missed it. It slipped out of my hands, and also sickle cell. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff slipped in June. But never you worry, worry thou not. I am going to come back and pick those things up, because I want to talk about the mental and emotional health of men. Because I think men definitely need to to cultivate self-awareness and sit down every day in their favorite chair. I grew up at a time when men had their own chair in the house, that whether they were there or not, you couldn't sit in that chair. It was their chair to sit in. Not just at the dinner table, but in the living room. They would sit in that chair, and normally it was a recliner, and they would kick back. Men had their chair. And I think it's very important that brothers find their chair again. Yep. Go ahead to whatever furniture store and buy your husband a chair, so he can sit there and think and relax and just think about what he wants to do and what's going on in his family, and where he can go and hold his kids if you have children that age, or better yet, wife, if he can just hold you. That's good too. That's good self-awareness and self-care right there. Absolutely. But you got to take that time every day to care for yourself. Sis, you got to care for yourself. A lot of the diseases and a lot of the sicknesses are often trending, or often not trending, but connected to, holding so many things inside, us not taking care of ourselves emotionally and mentally, that it releases certain chemicals in the brain, and your body begins to turn on itself. It begins to turn on itself because we're stimulated it in that direction. And oh, how unfortunate, because you cannot be your best self with a broken down you. So you have definitely got to create self-awareness. I've gotten to the place now and the age now, and I've kind of always been this way, but especially since I've gotten older, that every day I check myself. I check myself in the shower. If I feel how my bones feeling, how my joints feeling, how strong is my grip, how my knees are feeling. Lord, touch my knees. Yeah. I start thinking about any little thing. Now, and listen, here's what I don't do though. This is certainly not pro you. Do not get on the internet and research pain. Don't go to WebMD or whatever don't do it. Cause listen, I am telling you, you'll have a toothache, mess around and research that thing on the internet. And next thing you know, you got cancer of the tooth, right? You got pancreatic cancer in your tooth, right? Cause we destined to get it wrong. Right. Don't do that. Sometimes you just need to relax. Sometimes you just need to be aware of where you are and begin to think about, hey, have I hit my benchmarks today? Have I met my goals today? Okay. And listen, part of being self-aware or cultivating self-awareness is this. Watch this. Giving yourself grace. Let me say it again. Part of self-awareness is learning how to give yourself grace. Give yourself forgiveness. Yeah. You got to do that. You got to learn how to be kind to yourself. right? That's why so you won't have to keep disconnecting from society simply to find, going to a different country. No, I'm kind to me. At the end of every day, I'm kind to me. There's a certain point, that I'm working on a project, and I was like, okay, that's enough. I didn't finish it today. I'll come back tomorrow. But yeah, kindness to me is not racking my brain up, sitting up all night trying to work on things. No. Kindness to me is not grinding. One of the most ridiculous things that I could never appreciate or never get with is people say, well, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Are you serious? That the only time you're going to go to sleep is when you're dead? Ain't nothing that important. Let me say that one more time. So y'all, there is nothing that important on this side of life that the only time you sleep, the sweet sleep that we say that the Lord has given us, that God has given us, sweet sleep. You mean to tell me that the only time you're going to experience that is when you can't wake up again? That is the most ridiculous statement, the most reckless statement against your being, that you have got to stop saying that. That F-150 ain't worth that much for you to drive yourself in the ground. Because, you might get the car, but you're going to be dead before you even get to drive it. I mean, you'd be surprised. And especially young people, they think that that's the way. I'll sleep when I'm dead. No, no. See, here's the deal. No. You should sleep so you won't be dead, so you can finish your assignment of being. Stop saying stuff with your mouth that makes, I'm so tickled, that makes absolutely no sense. Where do we get this stuff from? Where do we get this crazy stuff from? I'll sleep when I'm dead. No, okay. You sure will. You sure will. But what of your family? What of your coworkers? What of all the things that have been depending on you? Yeah, no, you done worn yourself down like a little short pencil, thinking that you're achieving something, but you've lost all your stature in the process. Absolutely not. Use the other end of the pencil and erase. Get some things out of your life. And this is this one, that if you're going to be intentional, you have to make intentional choices. You have to make intentional choices. You've got to consistently make the choices that align with your clarified purpose. That you got to consider, how each decision, whether it's big or small, how those things contribute or it takes away from your overall purpose. And you got to be mindful that, that your choices and your decisions impact the quality of life that you're willing to live. Yes, choices and decisions. That's it. Long time ago, my dad taught me that, listen, you can make your choice, but you can't choose your consequence, because loaded in every choice and every decision is an automatic consequence. And unless you have somebody to have mercy and grace, unless something happens that changes and alters the laws of nature, the laws of how things work out, then guess what? Yeah, if you jump off a building, if you make that choice, then guess what? The consequences, depending on how tall the building is you're going to fall. And the higher it is, the more mortal it might be. You're in danger of losing your whole life. So you got to start making intentional choices. Did you really mean to do that? You really, really meant to do that? Now, I talked about, how we go out in the public and everything. Did you really mean to? That's how you really want to portray yourself? But that's how I feel. Really? You feel that bad about you? Or better yet, you don't care about you? Now, I know what I'm saying might make some folks mad, but, hey, yeah, that part. Maybe that's my assignment today. And while I'm encouraging you to give you something to think about, because we got to think about it. Is that how you want to be seen? Is that how you want people to comprehend you? See, men look at the outward appearance. Men look at the outward appearance. Let me say it again. Men look at the outward appearance, and they surmised what kind of parent, what kind of person you are. They already surmise that. And men have the priority and the right to do that. And here you are fussing about, I can do what I want to do. Okay, no problem. But, they're going to treat your children how they perceive you. They're going to treat your business how they receive you or perceive you. You come into the bank that way, that's how you're going to look. But that's how their attitude is going to adjust by how you look. You're not going to be treated like the CEO or like the valuable person you are when you present yourself less than that. See, again, when you're trying to be the best you, the operative word there is best, not just be you. No, because some folks got to work on being the best. Yeah. That's how people are going to receive you. Sometimes we teach people, watch this, y'all, how to treat us. Push pause, rewind. We teach people how to treat us. That's right. That's what we do. We teach them. And then you get mad when they treat you how you taught them. I'm just having that. No, calm down. Calm down. You just got up, walked around all the town, did all that, got in the mall, got in front of people, went to the restaurant, all looking like you just came out the field. Like you just rolled out the bed. You didn't take care of and do anything for yourself. Right? You didn't do anything to make, I was just on the rush. This is how I feel about today. Okay, well then you taught them how to treat you. That's exactly how you taught them. Why are you mad? What you mad for? Like the young folks say, what you mad for? Why are you upset? You just taught them how to treat you. You've got to make intentional choices. You've got to make that. Now, here's the fact. Sometimes I dress when I'm out. Sometimes I dress because I don't want people to, I don't dress like a pastor. I don't dress like a this or that, what I am, because sometimes I just want a casual day. And I know some folks will just overlook me if I'm just dressed really down and really regular. I mean, I'm still me, but, most times it don't work. It don't work because they've seen me in other arenas, right? But I've cultivated that. Yeah. And so, exactly, you've got to be very intentional about the choices that you make because you are teaching people how to treat little old you. You hear me? Absolutely. Listen, this is the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith right here on Praise 93.3 FM. We got a little bit more to go. About to sign off on this episode, but listen, I need you to keep it here. Don't miss it. We've got more to come.
This is the world premiere.
Hey, family, it's been a wonderful day on the Culture Call. Listen, I'm telling you, it's my prayer that I've empowered you, I've helped you, I've motivated you as best that I can, and one of the things that excite me is when I see people and I meet people and you hit me up and you say, hey, I really appreciate what you just talked about because I really needed that. On this Motivational Monday, this marvelous Motivational Monday, I want you to keep it on the frontlets of your eyes. I need you to keep it in your heart that you being here alive means something, that you are here where you are, when you are, for an incredible why you are. And every day, our job is not to look at the watch on our, on our wrist, and not to look at the calendar on our walls, but to discover and mine and dig deep to find, why am I here? Who am I supposed to help? Who am I supposed to impact? Whose life am I supposed to help go in the right direction? And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Right? That's what it's all about, that we are not so disconnected in a world that seems so very, antiseptic from relationship and critical relationships. We hear so much about the dysfunctionality of humanity. We hear so much about the negativity of people's personhood. We see the bad. Because, that's good for clickbaits and that's good for ratings and that's good for people watching on television. But there are people who may never get to that level of public status who are amazing people. They are great people. They are genuine people. right? And they are supposed to connect with you, and they're supposed to cross paths with you. And it's in those crossroads that we begin to understand significantly who we are and why we are here. I keep trying to tell you every day that God keeps me alive on this side of time, on this terrestrial ball. I want to remind you that ain't nobody bad like you, that you have genius connected to your being. And I want you to be encouraged all day. This Monday, that's right. Look, that enemy of selfishness and self insecurity and all that kind of stuff, selfishness. Look, that the people who are criticizing and judging you, who ain't ever got nothing good to say about you. Yeah, tell them I'm here on intention, living out my why to be the best I can be. Absolutely. Listen, as my grandmama and my mama would always say at the end of every phone call, you know it. I love you a bushel. I love you a peck. And I love you a hug around the neck. Continue to have a marvelous Monday. And tomorrow, come right back here at 10 a.m. right on Praise 93.3 and check into the Culture Call. We'll have something special for you. Until then, peace.